Hey, how you doing? My name's Ivan Michael Blackstock. I am a dancer, choreographer, curator, and artist director of Cross Platform. And I'm going to be sharing with you today some of my insights into the hip hop dance style and form, and also a little bit of the culture. So, starting off is me. My journey has been a really interesting journey. I kind of started dancing at a young age, being inspired by Michael Jackson, Bobby Brown, and yeah, those were kind of my two dance heroes back in the day, especially MC Hammer. I can't forget MC Hammer. And so with me, I was very inspired by kind of television, MTV, these big dance awards, the box, when we had the box on cable back in the day, and satellite television. And then it kind of transpired into me taking dance classes from the age of 8, inspired by my cousin who I saw at a dance concert. And yeah, now I am mid-30s, and my journey has been dancing with many kind of UK and London dance crews and companies. Co-founded Bird Gang Dance Company in 2005, and now I'm on a journey of self-discovery within the form even more so now, and looking at how I can put the hip hop dance form and language into kind of other mediums and other platforms. It's kind of really interesting right now with the current landscape and climate of hip hop dance, because now we have social media and the internet that has kind of blown this kind of form up really big. We're seeing this language everywhere. From Instagram to TikTok to YouTube. Even myself, I learn a lot from watching dance on the internet, but also there's a level of community and rawness that has been missed. A lot of my kind of personal upbringing has been dancing in clubs or at parties, and due to many things of people being at a certain age, and also there's not enough parties and clubs as there used to be back in the day, really showcasing the culture and playing that sort of music, where now the music has kind of turned more EDM. There's a level of spirit and a level of authenticity that which I feel is missing within the form. But it's only natural with the rise of the internet that this form is gonna change and evolve, and we can see it now doing amazing and beautiful things. Amazing dancers coming out of Eastern Europe, Asia, South Africa, South America, and where we first kind of saw this form kind of birth from the South Bronx in New York, and travel over to the West Coast, and we are now seeing a lot more kind of other identities and other kind of forms emerging. And that's one thing I love about hip hop dance, this street dance, that it's forever growing, it's forever changing. But the thing that kind of really inspired me when I was younger, also apart from these kind of musical artists and stars, was breaking, b-boying. I just love how it was so athletic, and the way they can kind of go from point A to point B to point Z was just insane to me. And I do think that is a very strong element that I think, if we're gonna try and be honest and hold on to the hip hop form and culture, that was the first hip hop dance, b-boying. you know, when we look at the 4 elements of hip hop, which is rap, DJing, graffiti, and b-boying, we need to make sure we kind of understand this part to also implement it into our other kind of forms and the current movements of what's happening now within the hip hop and street dance diaspora. And, you know, obviously with all of that said, it's also offline as well. So when I mean offline, it's now very much in theatres, and, you know, a lot of people still think, you know, hip hop dance in theatres is somewhat kind of new. But if we look at, you know, Breaking the movie and, you know, some of these kind of movies in the 80s, we would see the final dance kind of, you know, moment, the kind of climactic kind of dance moment was kind of like a theatre show. So, you know, the roots run deep within the culture and the connection to theatre. And there's been companies such as Breaking Convention, which is based in London at Sadler's Wells Theatre, that have been doing amazing stuff across the globe and within the community. And same for Artists, that are kind of a newer company doing amazing things and platforming up and coming hip hop theatre makers. So within the history of this form, it kind of runs deep. Some of the pioneers that we have in the UK, from John ZD to Benji Reed to Robert Hilton, these are kind of some of the movers and shakers from back in the day, especially within the early 90s hip hop scene in the UK, that kind of wanted to express themselves differently from what was happening from the battle scene that was kind of really kind of kicking off at that point. And yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a rundown of where we're at the moment with the scene. I think what is really exciting is the newer generation that's coming up. I do feel that a lot of the youth are picking up movements and understanding very quickly. I think there has been some really amazing teachers that have been kind of, you know, holding on to the foundations and the culture of this form and really kind of sharing the knowledge very wisely and very intelligently with the up and coming scene. But we need to remember that, you know, hip hop dance is not just a dance form, it's a culture. And us understanding kind of the 4 elements and also, you know, our history and the kind of the evolutions of where it's going, I think that will definitely help you understand, you know, where to go next with the movement and with the dance. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on where it's going to go. There's been a lot of kind of newer forms of dance, shall we say, that is a family to hip hop, but not necessarily hip hop, such as crump and light feet. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for what's coming up because it's really exciting. And I'm happy to share with you today. And yeah, keep safe and keep dancing. Hey guys, so what we have is the first foundational step, which is the bounce, yeah? So we're gonna look at it as kind of like a compression movement, which you're gonna incorporate your head, your upper body, and your lower half, yeah? So what you wanna do is think of your head going up and down, first of all, kind of like you're agreeing to something. I'll face the side so you can see, like so. And you can also go up with the motion. So you can go down with the motion like so, with your head, and you can also go up. But we're gonna focus on going down today. Then also, we're going to look at the upper body, which is your chest and your torso. And what you want to do is extend your chest out and then concave. Extend, concave. Extend, concave. I'll face the side. Extend, concave. Extend, concave. And while you're doing all of that stuff, we're also going to incorporate the legs, which is a softening of the knees, which is a slight bend in your knees, and then extend. Yeah? Bend, extend. Bend, extend. And what we're going to do right now is incorporate all of that in one big movement, which looks like so. Okay, feels very like a robot at the moment, but we'll get the hang of it. So I'll show you the side. So slowing it down, when you bend, what you want to do is soften your knees forward, concave your chest, and your head slightly relaxes in. And then when you extend up, your head kind of goes slightly above head height. Your chest extends, not fully, but just a little bit. And then your legs straighten. And we don't want to lock them, just soften. So when we bend in, we concave. When we extend, everything opens up. Yeah? So, with a little bit of flavor, we can move our legs, and it's the same motion. We can also isolate the head alone. You can look to the side if you want to. You can use your chest. You can change the timing if you want to, like so. And then we can also use the legs and isolate and bend. Yeah? And transfer your weight onto your left, onto your right, like so. So as a full body motion, we are going to bend. And what you want to do is slightly tuck in your hips and slightly extend. Nothing too crazy like so, but just enough to kind of accentuate the movement. Yeah? So what we're going to do, I'm going to just put on some music so you can kind of see that all together. Cool. So I'm just going to count you in so you can kind of do it with me. I'll face the side so you can kind of see what I'm doing on my full body so it doesn't look kind of a bit weird facing the front. Ready? 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 6. So, what we're going to do is go a little bit faster. And I'll face the front. Just the head. Just the chest. Just the legs. Full body. To the side. That's the basic bounce. So guys, the next step we're going to do is called the rock, where you're kind of rocking back and forth. You kind of transfer your weight through your feet, and you kind of do this back and forth motion. I'll do the side and the front so you can see again. So, what you want to do, starting with your head first, is kind of rock back with your head. Back, back, back. It's kind of like you're hitting your head on something behind here. Knock, knock, knock. And what we're going to do is just kind of, with our upper body, just start to rock back and forth. So what you want to do is with your hips is kind of lean forward, relax your shoulders back, and then it slightly concaves in. Nothing too much, but just a slight relax. Back, back, back. And same thing with your knees. You're kind of going to be pushing knees forward and then rocking back. Only with this time, if you think of a central line right here, halving me, you want to kind of rock back and forth, back, 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 forth. Doing the facing the front, back, forth, back, forth. So you don't want to extend your chin to the sky, just a little bit, back, forth, back, forth. And with these foundational steps, with your arms, the idea is to kind of create your own kind of language, your own identity. So you can have your arms swinging, your arms out. It's kind of up to you with these kind of basic foundational moves. Yeah? So we just pick up the tempo a little bit. I'll count you in. We'll just do 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, facing the front. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what you want to do, just making sure with your head, try not to throw your head back. It's not that motion. What you want to do is trying to have everything move together. Yeah. The idea is to make it look very relaxed, make it look cool, and make it look like it's a thing that you've been doing every day of your life. Yeah? So let's do that with music so you can kind of see how that is with a hip hop beat behind it. So we're just going to rock back and forth, and I'm going to face this side again so you can kind of see the motion. I'm kind of going back and forth. Yeah? 5, let's go back. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's pick it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Face front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to go slow this time so you can see what I'm doing. I'm rocking back. Also, my weight is transferring from my heels to my toes. So when I go back, it's going into my toes, going into my heels. Into my toes, into my heels. Yeah? We do it one more time, facing this way. 2 8s, and I'll count you in. And 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the rock. foundational step we're going to do is the roll, which is kind of a very flow-like movement, kind of like a snake, which there's kind of isolated movements, but all together creates a flow. So here we go. Facing this way. You're going to start off with your head first, which is kind of doing a forward back motion. Forward, back. Same as your chest. Forward, back. Your hips, forward, back. Your knees, forward, back. Yeah? So when you are doing this motion, it's kind of like you're going again off this central line that we were thinking about when we're doing a rock. And it's kind of like an evolution to the rock, actually. Yeah? So when you're rolling, think of it as one big motion. You can break it down into just your head, just rolling forward and back, same as for your chest. You can just practice it in isolation, same as for your hips. Whoa, yeah, there we go. And then for your knees, yeah. So practicing it going down, and then practicing it going up, down, and then back up. Yeah, so that's kind of a basic roll. And then facing forward is the same principle. Doing this motion, again, what we're speaking with the arms, you can kind of use your arms however you like. You can hold an image or a pose. You might see this in old school 80s, 90s music videos. And then also we can snake and roll to the side. Yeah. And this is my feet fixed to the ground. And this is it doing a simple two-step. Yeah. And you can think of this as kind of going under like a rope or under something, which will help you. Think of that motion, yeah? So if you think of this motion and find different ways of using your legs, you can find really interesting ways of building this movement, this foundational movement. We don't have to always do it so big. You can kind of do it a little bit smaller. You know, you might see people in the club doing this. I always see like really amazing female dancers in the club kind of having this nice little groove that they're doing, and this is what helps you with your groove, yeah? This rolling motion. There's like a groove within this motion, and you'll find it in other foundational steps, yeah? So let's try that with music. And yeah, we'll just kind of do it a couple times, and hopefully it's something that you can kind of grow from and find quite useful within your dance technique and tools. So I'm gonna face the side. So let's go down for 4 and then up for 4, yeah? I'll count you in. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. 1, 2, 3. Down. And 1, 2, 3. And up. And 1. And one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. 2, 3. Faster. And 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1, 1, 1, 1. Let's try to the side for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah? That's called a roll. So guys, the first step we have is called the A-Town Stomp. Very simple move, one of my favorite moves to do. And here we go. So, we're gonna use our right leg first. Kick, together. Yeah? Kick, together. Kick, together. Kick, together. Yeah? In a fancy word, when you put it together, ensemble, which they sometimes use in ballet. Kick, ensemble. Yeah? So, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. But then also you can do is 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Yeah? That's how we usually, that move, the second version is how we kind of associate and recognize the A-Town Stomp. Yeah? So we've got 1 and 2. Kick, kick, step. Kick, kick, jump. Shall we say? Kick, kick, jump. Kick, kick, jump. Kick, kick, jump. Yeah? So you can choose whichever way you want. You could do it in a circle. Kick, kick, jump. 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 Yeah? One of my favorites is turning your legs in and out, then together. Yeah? So we got in, out, together, in, out, together. Yeah? So let's try that. 5, 6, 7, out. In, out, together. In, out, together. In, out, together. In, out, together. Let's try that with music and see how we get. Five, 6, choose which one you want. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tap, 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 tap. In, out, together. In, out, together. In, out, together. In, out, together. Yeah? So actually, let's do kick together. That's what we just did. Kick together. Yeah? Kick together. Kick together. Then kick, kick together. Kick, kick together. Kick, kick together. Kick, kick together. Last one. In, out, together. In, out, together. In, out, together. Last one. In, out, together. Yeah? The tempo with and with music. 5, 6, 7, 8. Kick together. Kick together. Kick together. Kick together. Kick, kick together. Kick, kick together. Kick, kick together. Kick, kick together. in, out, together, in, out, together, in, out, together, in, out, together. Your arms are quite free. You could be here. Clap, tap, tap, tap. Be free, yeah? So that's the 8-count stomp. Cool, so next one we have is the crisscross. And all you're doing is crossing your legs in front of each other. The way I like to do it is give a bend to the body. We also call this the BK bounce, yeah? So, cross and cross. Arms that could be free. That's the basic timing. Also, what I like to do is kind of just break it down a little bit, where I cross over and turn. And I cross over again and turn. Yeah? Very simple. Cross, turn, cross, turn. Yeah, and some people like to change it up and travel with it. So you can play around with this movement. Very fun. You might have done it as a little one when you're dancing around in front of your parents or something, or in the playground. But just cross over, give your body some movement, some spine movement. So remember to move your top half. Yeah? Let's try that with music. We're just gonna go very simple. Let's do it for 8 counts, and then we'll do this one for another 8 counts. Yeah? Cool. Five, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Crisscross. So guys, the next one we have is called the Bart Simpson. Yeah? So what you have, we're gonna go to the right first, is step, twist, up. Step, twist, up. Yeah? There's many different variations to it. We can go step, step, up, step, step, up. We can keep it to the front. We can go ha, step, ta, 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 ta. You might have seen this move in the Michael Jackson, remember the time, from Elite Force doing it. So big up with the stretch doing that move. So that's the Bart Simpson. We got slide for now. Let's try that one, the slide version. Slide, slide, up. Yeah? Slide, slide, up. Slide, slide, up. So with all foundational steps, you do the same on the right side, you do the same on the left side. Yeah? So it's kind of up to you which way you want to start. It's a freestyle dance at the end of the day. So, but we're gonna start with the right, yeah? The version what I want to play around with today is keeping still and going right, left, up. Left, right, up. Right, left, up. Left, right, up. Yeah? And then what we're going to do after that is slide, slide, up. Slide, slide, up. Yeah? So let's try that with music. We're going to be static with our legs, in the sense we're not going to move around. So we're going to go right, left, up. Left, right, up. Yeah? So we do that 4 times, and then what we're gonna do is a slide one 4 times. Yeah? So let's try that with music straight away, throw you in the deep end and see how you get. Ready? Right side. 5, 6, 7, 8. Up and clap, clap, up and clap, clap, up and clap, clap, up and slide, slide, up and slide, slide, up and slide, slide, up and slide, slide, up and. Yeah? Ready? Again. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I messed up a bit on that one, and the timing I'm doing is a little bit slower than you would usually do, just so you can see the emphasis on coming up. Yeah, because that's also important. Yeah, so when we're here, remember to come up. Yeah, so that's the Bart Simpson. Slide, 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 slide. Bart Simpson. So the next step we have is called the Steve Martin. We're going to take it this way, and there's a lot of movement that happens with your top half as well as your bottom half. They kind of do two separate things. So here we go. So we've got 1, 2. Yeah, so we're going to go to the right first. 1, then we shift to the left. 2, then we got 3, 4, then we got 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, as you can see, my body does a lean or exchange of weight kind of each step. Your arms are quite free also, so don't think you're limited to this motion. I'm just kind of doing this as a basic prep, but when we have seen this in old school kind of music videos and like films like House Party, they have this kind of framing. This is the basic kind of form for this movement, yeah, for this social dance. So let's try that, broken down and slowly, so you can hopefully catch it. So we're here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's a level of crunching with your legs too, yeah? So think of, there's a bounce when you're doing it, but then there's also a rock as well. And the more bounce you can get, I think for me, there's a little bit more flavor within the movement. You can kind of jump, yeah? So, that's the Steve Martin, and you can just play around with it. I like to just play around with how I'm going to do it. Yeah? So there's many ways you can play around with this movement, but it's called a Steve Martin. So let's just do what we've been just practicing with music, and I might throw a little bit of freestyle improv in there with the other variations. Five, six, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So also try and freestyle each foundational step, yeah? So you can kind of find your own flow within it, and also it's good to practice slow so you can find what your body's doing during the movement, yeah? Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Steve Martin. Cool, so we have all those other steps, but then we also have, it's not necessarily a hip hop foundation, but you will use this movement and this motion within hip hop dance in kind of hype, b-boying and other kind of, forms that come underneath the hip hop dance and street dance diaspora umbrella. So, kickball change. You can see in jazz, kick, ball, change, kick, ball, change, kick, ball, change, kick, ball, change. Yeah, that's very simple, that's what we're gonna focus on, but also there's so many different ways you can use this movement. And you'll see it in hip hop a lot. Kick, ball, change. It's kind of like what you see in the top rock motion. You can do it small. Boom, you might see this in funk. You see it in b-boying. Yeah? So, what you want to do is, we're going to start with the right leg. Kick, step, change. And when we change, basically you're going to put your leg out or behind or a different place from where it is, yeah? So you've got kick, pull, change. We're going to repeat on this other side. Kick, pull, change, yeah? Then we're going to go kick, pull, change, kick, pull, change, yeah? And then from here, we're going to go kick, pull, change, kick, pull, change. So we have 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Yeah, so we're gonna finish off going back to the side. Yeah, so let's break that down slowly one more time. We've got kick, pull, change, 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 kick, pull, change. And try, if you can, make sure you're using your upper body. Yeah, allow to transfer your weight. Yeah, allow not to just be here. Allow your body to transfer on each leg. Yeah, so let's try that without music and then we'll hear it with the music. Ready? 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kick, pull, change, 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 kick, pull, change. And as you can see, I'm very light on my toes. There's kind of like a weight transference that happens. Yeah? let's try that with music. Five, six, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep on change, 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 keep on change. Again, keep on change, 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 keep on change. And with this motion, you can be quite free with it. You know, I'm gonna just let down my hair for a bit. Experiment, you know, you can switch it up a little bit. For example, yeah, play around with it. There's so much other ways you can go, but also remember, hip hop is a freestyle dance. It's also about putting your own flavor on it. Yeah. So let's do that one more time, and then let's just kind of have some time to muck around, be free, and figure out other ways of doing it. Yeah. Let's go. And 5, 6, 7, 8. Kick will change. Kick will change. Kick will change. Kick will change. Kick will change, 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 kick will change. Slow it down. Remember to use upper body. It's a full body expression hip hop, so remember to use your body when you're doing each movement. Boom, kick will change. So the last step we're going to do is a step called escape. For me, it's kind of one of the foundational movements before we kind of get on to the other fancy steps in the whole hip hop vocabulary. So when I started understanding movement within the hip hop world and kind of how to move my body within how to do it correctly, and looking at the body rhythms of hip hop, bounce, rock, roll, and skate were kind of epiphanies to me to understand, okay, this is how you move your body. So with the skate, all it is this motion. You might have done it before, but if you haven't, you're doing it now. So you're going to slide with our right leg, up, yeah? Or slide up with your hands, then up with your leg, yeah? Slide, knee, slide, knee, slide, knee, slide, knee. Make sure you're using your body when you're doing this move, yeah? It just makes it less robotic, yeah? And you can put a little twist in it with your body if you want to. Look to the side, yeah? So the other little variation we want to do is slide, kick, knee, kick, slide, kick, knee, kick. This one's a little bit trickier than all the other ones. Slide, kick, knee, kick, 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 slide, kick, knee, kick. Yeah? So to speed, it looks like boom, boom, pa, boom, boom, pa, boom, boom, pa, boom, boom, pa, boom, boom, pa. Yeah? So let's try that with music. We'll go slow and then we'll go fast. Cute. Basic skate first. And side, 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 again. We put a twist on it. One more time. Cool. So let's do the other variation. It's a little bit faster. It's gonna be one of these ones, but we'll get there. Yeah. So you've got slide, kick, knee, kick. Slide, kick, knee, kick. Slide, kick, knee, kick. Slide, kick, knee, kick. Yeah? Let's try the tempo. If you mess up, it's fine. Just keep practicing, keep drilling, and you'll get it. Let's throw you in the deep end. Ready? And 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah? It's a bit exhausting, isn't it? Let's try again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Side kick me up, side kick me up, kick me up, side kick me up, kick me up. Woo! Do it. This thing got me doing. That beat is a bit fast. So when you have a slower track, or when it's in your body, or you're not as tired as me, it will look a lot smoother. So let's try that one more time. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. Side kick, knee, side kick, knee, kick, knee, kick, kick, knee, kick, kick, knee, kick. Yeah, there you go. So that's the skate. So next, what we're going to look at is 3 exercises I kind of use to generate movement, kind of still sticking to the world of hip hop. But I kind of use this to think of something a little bit more conceptual, and it can translate into many different areas, from something a little bit more kind of, theatrical, to something conceptual, to something maybe you want to put it into more of a commercial space. So the first thing we're going to look at is using a body part, and you're going to disable a certain part of your body and let your other body kind of react to that disability. So if I think about my right leg as something that I can't really use, it's something that's very stiff in motion, I'm gonna think of how can I use this movement within space. So also what we can also think about is thinking that the move is 360. Yeah, when we're dancing, we're not dancing only in front of a mirror, or only in front of an audience, or only in front of a camera. The dance is, born in a circle, in a cipher. So when you're dancing, always think 360, unless you're kind of catering the movement to something or an audience member that's kind of in front of you. So disabling my right leg, what I'm gonna do is just think about how I can find new pathways and kind of explore the space with my leg. So if I just think of moving around, and maybe I want to just focus on just moving the ankle, but the rest of my leg is somewhat, but I can't move it. So just looking at what I can do with my body when it's disabled. And same thing, you can do that to your arm. You can move your body. And you can think of ways on generating movement. Yeah? That's kind of using a body part and disabling the motion. So, the second one, I like to use kind of a thing, well, they call it fixed point in popping, but kind of the fancy choreographic dance term is called spatial tension. So it's kind of locking something in place and holding tension within that spot. So you might see it in mime where they might hold something and it looks like they're moving around this fixed point. Yeah? So what is kind of great about this, you can change different levels, you can kind of change where the fixed point is, and you can stay within that, find different ways in fixed point in the motion. So you can fixed point your arm, you can fixed point your legs, you can fixed point your head to things. So that's fixed point. But it comes from the family of popping, but we use it within hip hop as well. And lastly is body design. So body design is another fancy term, but within hip hop we say freeze. We choose a freeze. Yeah, and when you freeze, it doesn't necessarily have to be somewhat like, you know, think of like a b-boy freeze. You know, we're not thinking, have to always think of a freeze. We're thinking of a pose, or a pose, or a pose, a pose. So when you use a body design, it's just basically looking at how you can transition from one body design to another body design. So what I like to do is think about, if I'm gonna use a pose, how can I transition fast, or take my time into transitioning into that, or what's other ways how I can transition into one design into another, and how maybe it's very small, or maybe it's somewhat a big motion. So I kind of use, as I said, a freeze, fixed point, and kind of like disabling body parts to generate interesting movement. So play with that and see what happens. Hey guys, so I would like to share with you a tool I use called the remote control. I use this to kind of generate conceptual movement. So if you think of the many settings that's on a remote control, and I will use this movement as an example. So if we think of this as play, and then if we think of a setting on the remote control such as stop, stop, and we can carry on pressing play. And then if we think of pause, it's kind of like a standby movement, and then we go back into play. Then we can think of a rewind motion, or you can think of something fast forwarding. I use these kind of settings to generate really interesting movements. So if I just freestyle for a little bit so you can kind of see something a bit bigger. So if I kind of move in a way that I'm doing, and then I think of standby, back to play, stop, 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 play, stop, play, stop, play, rewind. That's a bit harder to rewind, but yeah, you kind of get the gist of that. So it's kind of looking at settings on a remote control and playing around of how you can rewind movement, fast forward movement, pause movement, stop movement, and carry on. Or maybe you want to even slow it down. So have a try and see what you can make up.